And we often talk about handling change, uh, being your ability to handle what is unexpected, and this is a live example of that. You'll end up in a situation that was not expected, and you still have to make the best of it. So welcome being my partner to handle this change. So the topic is modular data centers, meeting the changing requirements of customers, agility, speed, low cost. These are the things. We also talk about often penetration of data centers in deeper territories beyond metros. That's also where prefab or pre-constructed data centers come into play. I do most welcome. So yet another change, fireside chat becomes a panel discussion. Hi. So second time in few days, Bala. Nice being on the panel. So we are talking about what has changed and why do we have data centers with pre-constructed or prefabricated or pre-assembled, pre-MEP fitted out data centers. We thought we will touch the aspect of turnaround times, faster turnaround time, the cost, the agility part of it. Also the fact that we need to go deeper into the territory of India, where again prefab or pre-constructed data centers will play a key role. So with that, I would want you to take a free run on the ground and speak whatever you want to say first, and then we will pick up threads from there and start talking.
I think data centers time to market is the key word. So all data centers we were building with 24 months period. Now people want it in 12 months. That is one thing driving towards prefabricated data centers because the constructions to be fast.
Sorry to interrupt. Don't forget to use the fantastic concept we used the other day. It is patented of Bala. He says MEPs make anything possible. Everything possible.
MEP. So the constant changes and the higher requirements makes it go to this prefabricated designs and fabric. The concept is when civil work is going on, you get all other things prefabricated at the factory and get it along with the civil construction. That civil construction 8 months, you try to finish the overall work within the 12 months period. That is where this concept is coming. One more thing on the prefabricated is uniformity and efficiency. And looking at ESG goals, I think that is also, it adds value to that also. These are my initial thoughts.
Right.
I fully agree with you, Balaji. The fact of the matter is modularity and scalability kind of go hand in hand, and that's the way to go ahead. Depending upon the requirements of what we are looking at in terms of AI and the scale at which data centers are going. The fact that, along with MEP, for that matter, if people think about civils as well, to look at how they can be modularized, we have prefabricated buildings, containerized systems and stuff like that. You can have the entire set ready in no time. If we look at proper planning and then implementation as well. So changes, yes, they are always constant, but if you are looking at scales to accomplish, I guess that's the way to go. And combining civils and looking at civils as well in terms of building it, because ultimately your MEP will sit on a civil construction. So if you look at modularizing the civil part of it as well, along with that, integrating it together, I guess we get more scales and we get more faster constructions.
So we have a wonderful combination or I would say diversification of expertise within even two panels. Yours is civil and yours is MEP. I mean, you can't get better than this. So how do you think, sir, when you talk about AI data centers, essentially it means high density, which means it has to have higher capacity to hold those loads, higher maybe room size to accommodate the racks and allow the circulation of cool air, etc. So how do you think it's possible when you talk about modular data centers, prefab, is it possible to make those data centers suitable for such applications?
can be thought of and it can be done as well in terms of proper planning. Again, I would say planning is the key word out over there. Heights can be adjusted, okay, whatever requirements are, but that needs to be frozen up. We have been doing projects in terms of there's a constant variation in terms of looking at conventional plus AI applications. So that causes a lot of turmoil. And then the civils already done the core and shell. These days the developer arrangement is like the core and shell are done. Then we start doing retrofitting and changes into the existing structure, which is again, like the orthopedic surgeons are doing the original parts kind of stuff. So if you plan it properly, then you can look at the holistic approach towards it, put proper heights in terms of the height requirement, give the load capacities to the structure to sustain it, and then probably also be flexible enough to have provisions for the future as well in terms of expansions or adding more load towards it. Again, there's a cost attached towards it in terms of putting flexibility into the structures, but if that is taken care of and understood by all stakeholders, I guess that is bigger in terms of what we are talking about in terms of scales of data centers.
And if you have to compare the options available and talk about advantages, disadvantages of, let's say, precast, pre-engineered steel buildings, and whatever technology options you have, how do you think the pros and cons, the pluses and minuses?
There are pros and cons in various systems, like the prefab and prefabricated steel versus concrete as well. Again, in terms of what you want at the end of the day, it is not new to the industry in terms of prefab buildings, steel buildings or concrete buildings. It has been done in the past for various other sectors of businesses or industries for that matter. So,
And precast concrete also.
we have concrete as well. We have prefab plants very much in India available. We have done precast buildings as well in India. So nothing new in terms of technology, but application changes. Okay, it might have been done for a residential building or probably a commercial building or a metro mall or something like that. But you can see the bridges which are prefab girders, right? So same application can be used for data center as well. The load cannot be much higher than what a bridge would be, but still within the constraints, and then it's applicable. It can be delivered, can be done.
Just add slightly to what he said additionally. See, we have done, I think, in the country, many people have done prefabricated, precast, all the things. In fact, in LNT also, we did a DRDO building which was 8 floors with precast completely within 45 days. It was inaugurated within 45 days. 45 days for construction, pre-construction at factory, and 45 days erection. That's the record of the country. And we also took up something in Mumbai, tall structure, residential structure, where we could build 96 flats in 96 days. Okay, so I think that is available. I think that can be easily taken to data centers. All the way, some data centers we've already done something like pods. We did the toilet pods in many of these projects. We can apply that, and all the electrical rooms and the services rooms can be made into pods. That is where the modularization and prefabrication can be. And having said that, there is always technology in data centers disruptive right now, because we start looking at air cool, we are looking at AI. AI is again disruptive. We don't know whether it's 50 kilowatt or people are talking of 600 as well. So how much load should be taken? The way forward we are looking right now is have 50-50.
Right. I'm sure some of you must have read about 1 megawatt rack also.
So that, so they're testing that. So
It's like an auction going on.
So I think you need to distribute the loads, overall load. We need to look at putting up that 3,000 or whatever, 4,000 or 5,000, and then distribute it according to the flows. I think that's the way to go forward, because the structural cost compared to the MEP cost in a data center is very less, so we can plan for such things. The only thing we need to take care of the cooling side when you go for higher density racks, the cooling system. We need to make provisions for different cooling systems or different temperatures. Probably two set points of temperatures. That is what we need to look forward.
Right.
It is possible.
Couple of things. One is, how do you compare the cost aspect when you do a smaller capacity prefab data center vis-a-vis a larger megawatt capacity in a metro data center? How's your cost per megawatt? Does it change substantially? One. Second is, from the operation life cycle, typically a prefab data center will be for edge, last mile, micro kind of thing. So that will be far away. Considering the availability of resources, service providers, OEMs supply of services there, turnaround time, because again, customer will not dilute the uptime or the expectation of problem resolution, problem solution, just because the data center is away, right? So if you're I thought fire alarm. So, so if your resolution time is, let's say 5 hours, there also it will be 5 hours. So how do you see possibility of supporting the life cycle in prefab data centers which are essentially away? And also from civil point of view.
If I understood your
Is
question.
it our time is over? What was the ring? Oh, the time is over. Okay.
The cost, definitely, if you see the product costs, I think definitely it's higher, depending on the kilowatt racks. But you should look at the construction time and see the overheads and other things probably, and time to market where the customer will start earning by 12 months instead of waiting for 24 months.
Right.
So if you put all those calculations into it, probably it's good to go for prefabricated data centers. And when you go for edge data centers, definitely prefabricated is the option.
Right.
Okay, you need to energize it immediately and make it function immediately.
Perfect. I think the operation life cycle will keep for one-on-one offline discussion. Our time is over. Right. All right. Thank you very much.